The next step, I want to talk a little bit about the handles. As I mentioned before, you can do your handles two ways. You can make it, in my pink bag, I use the lining fabric to make my handles, and it's just a solid piece. Now, if you bought the interfacing that's pre-marked and had handles that come with it, they actually measure 25 inches. You want to cut half an inch off. You want your cut handles to be 24.5 inches wide or long and 2.5 inches wide. So if you have to cut your own fusible interfacing, it's 24.5 by 2.5. You need 4 pieces of interfacing for the handles. There are, 2 pieces of interfacing for handles. I needed 4 because I'm making 2 bags. So 2 pieces of interfacing because there are 2 handles per bag. And you, at this point, you also need to cut the fleece for your handles also. Your handles have to be constructed before you put everything else together. Again, this pink bag has one solid fabric. I use the same as my lining. At this point, if you decide to make your handles with the 2.5 inch squares, sew all your 2.5 inch squares together. It takes 12 of them, to make your 24.5 inch handle. So sew those together. Then when you've got your handles cut, you're going to sew 1 piece of the handle or 2 pieces of the handle to the interfacing and 2 pieces of the handle, handle fabric to the fusible web. Then you put them back to back, sew them up, turn them, iron them nice and flat, and at this point you also want to do your top stitching on the handles. So have your handles all done. I can go over the handles again later, but your handles have to be completely finished before we put the bag together. At this point too, you want to make sure if you're going to put pockets inside your bag, go ahead and cut your pocket piece. It tells you on the front of your instructions what size to cut your pockets. Okay, so the directions, the cutout directions for your pocket, which you also need to have completely finished before we construct the bag, is 6.5 inch by 14.5, and it's doubled back and turned and top stitch so that you get your pocket all ready to go before we construct the bag. I used, coordinating fabric. You can use the same fabric. In both my bags, I put 2 pockets. You can make 1 or 2 or not any. The other little piece I found attached to my pattern this time around is a little keychain holder, which you can also make ahead of time, and we'll stitch that right into the where the handle attaches to the bag. So again, your little keychain tab will also need to be made and completed before we construct the bag, put the bag all together.